But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. That's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6, 3, 2, 9, 7.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. Yes, this is the show where we talk about all the things what we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we are taking your phone calls. We've always taken phone calls in a live format. Tonight is no different. The phone number right there on the stream, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org, and you can be part of the show that way. The Discord is a chat client. It's a voice client. It's a fantastic little program. It works on mobile. It works on desktop, Apple, all that good stuff. And it's free. So that's why we do it two ways. So the phone number is a 702 area code, which is out of Las Vegas. And if you don't like that, you're international. We have people listening all over the world. And let's say you want to call into the show from, New Zealand or something. Then you can do it for completely free using Discord. And that's what to do. Go to troubledminds.org, and the Discord link is right on top. You click it, you get a direct invite, and it's simple as that. So, all right. If also, we have another Discord running for the Fringe FM. I think the website is back up at fringe.fm/chat. If you go check that out, that will give you a direct invite to Fringe FM Discord as well, which I'm watching. I'm trying to watch all the chats and trying to watch all the things because, well, it's more fun with more people. So that's what we're doing tonight. Trying to have more fun with more folks. Typically on Wednesday nights, we have Ash, the reptilian from Mars, and we'll have him tonight. He's just running a little late. Dust storm on Mars or something like that. So once that clears up, we should get him on the show. But tonight, now there's been a lot of weirdness going on, right? Not just in regular news cycles, as we talk about all the time on this show. it really does seem like we live in some bizarre version of the Upside Down. Now, as you know, we watch the UFO news very closely on this show, and keep you up to date. Just make sure that you know what's going on, and kind of so you don't have to. And many times, it's like you can't even make some of this stuff up, right? Like we talk about aliens and all kinds of weird stuff on this show, right? Way out there stuff like. Yeah, if you've listened to the show, But some of the things that actually come out of just regular UFO news is astonishing, let's say. Nothing short of astonishing. And what I mean is there's an individual by the name of Dr. Steven Greer. All right. Now, Dr. Steven Greer he's been in the UFO community for a very long time. He's actually a retired medical doctor. And he in the old days, let's say back in the early 2000s, he was very well respected, probably all over the entire the entire UFO community, right? Very well respected. He's briefed the White House, they say, and things like this, right? Definitely, at least high up in Congress, he's done briefings of UFOs, trying to bring out the truth, a disclosure project, right? And if you've been paying attention, we have this weird, odd. A disclosure thing happening with Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, that whole TTSA thing with Tom DeLonge and the rest of that, right? But the weird part is that now we have like these competing disclosure movements happening. And so if Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, and those guys are kind of leading the charge in one aspect, trying to get information from the government regarding UFOs. On the other hand, we have Steven Greer, who's not trying to get information from the government directly per se, but it seems like he wants people to maybe just kind of find disclosure on their own, right? He thinks that, just in a nutshell, that we can summon UFOs, right? His CE5 experience thing, which of course is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and we can talk about that a little bit tonight as we go, and I'm sure Ash will have something to say about that when he gets here. And so the thing it's a little bit weird, right? So you have these competing disclosure things happening, right? And so one seems to be trying to get information directly from the government regarding what you could classify as basically a UFO threat, right? A threat. I don't know, like they've kind of toned down the threat narrative recently, but it seemed like, with the Unidentified Television Show on the History Channel and some of the things they were saying, right? Tom DeLonge specifically, the very first thing out of his mouth on the Joe Rogan podcast was, well, we don't call them UFOs anymore. We call them advanced aerial threats. And Joe Rogan goes, threats? And he's like, oh, well, I wasn't supposed to, get into that. Like, okay, well, sorry, Tom, maybe it shouldn't be the first thing out of your mouth. But anyway, like this is kind of like the crap show that has been, whatever this disclosure thing is happening. It's like, it's kind of been a train wreck from start to finish, and it's not even finished. They're still working on this stuff. That's just one guy's opinion. That's my dude's, one guy, me, one dude, me. My opinion. So again, I'm not trying to I don't know, rig the jury here, but it is a little strange that there's one camp that seems to be kind of focused on a UFO threat narrative as part of the disclosure efforts, and then there's another again in Steven Greer that seems like that's not at all. He says that aliens are not a threat whatsoever. All right, and so, like, very differing viewpoints here. And some people have speculated that Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon and those guys are doing the disclosure thing to get military funding, right? To get funding from for the Pentagon for other stuff, right? Who knows? And so, that's one theory. I'm not so sure I buy that because, the Pentagon just loses money, like, left and right. So, it's not like, and they just give them more. So it's not like, in my opinion, that you have, it's likely that this is the case. I think if you want to know what I think specifically about what's going on with the Disclosure Project and some of what I think is probably closer to the truth, go back and listen to last night's show. And I've detailed quite a lot in there that kind of makes a lot of sense to me. So just FYI, if you did miss that one, it's one you shouldn't miss. because it may open your eyes, and it's one that the mainstream media is not touching because, of course, again, like I said last night, there's a reason they don't talk about it. I think it's specifically because there are issues, right? Issues with it, meaning it may be a little too close to the truth, in my opinion. But anyway, so the reason we're talking about Steven Greer tonight is because he just released this Exposé, he's calling it, all right? Now, I'm going to put a link in the chat, and it's from, let's see, he's calling it the Cosmic Hoax, all right? The Cosmic Hoax. And let's see. The Cosmic Hoax and Exposé, and it's not bad. I was a little surprised that I was enjoying it, right? And I wasn't gonna kind of be smacking my forehead and going, oh geez, what is this? So it wasn't terrible, right? It wasn't terrible. There's some stuff in there that I think is probably bang on, right? Which I didn't expect to hear or see from the guy that says he can meditate and summon UFOs. So there's that. I was a little bit surprised, and it was cool. It was a good thing, but there's some really, really weird stuff in here. There's some really, really bizarre stuff in this this expose. So anyway, if you haven't seen this, I do recommend watching it. Clearly, not right now. Make sure you finish this show first, and then go watch the Steven Greer, the expose, if you haven't seen it. The Cosmic Hoax and Expose, he calls this. All right, and in this, he makes some pretty emphatic and startling statements. All right. And we'll get to some of that. But now the thing is this. He says this. This is the brief outline. Straight in the comments here. It says that learn the truth from the father of the Real Disclosure Project. And this documentary is Steven Greer's answer to the current government and media disinformation campaign promoting 3 big lies. Now, those lies are these 3 things. Number 1, we do not know what these UAPs or UFOs are. We do know what they are, he says. Okay? He's saying the government is straight up lying, and we know what these things are, and it is not what you think. 2, humans cannot make the craft maneuver like UFOs. Well, Steven Greer says, yes, we can. And not only can we do. And so he's claiming that a lot of the things we see out there are indeed government manufactured UFOs. And number 3, the UFOs are a threat. He says they are not. They are not. So that's the crux of like his the kind of like the breakdown of the outline. And he goes into some other things, specifically regarding the cover-up and Project Blue Book and things like this, which is fine. I like some of that history when you include it into these disclosure projects. But I don't know. Again, once again, I don't know what to think about Steven Greer. Let's put it that way. The guy's kind of all over the place. Like I said, he seems to have jumped the shark more recently and become less and less respected, more and more woo-woo, if you know what I'm saying. Like woo woo, kind of like that, right? Like maybe call the cops woo woo. But it's weird to me. It's weird that who knows? I mean, maybe I'm the nutty one, and he's really summoning UFOs. There are people who says he can. People, Demi Lovato, and he's getting like some celebrity backing and things like this. Maybe you guys have summoned UFOs. I don't know. So I'm just saying that it sounds a little bit odd to me that you can summon them, and we haven't seen a little green man on camera get out or anything, right? Of a flying saucer, right? Even though he claims you can summon them. So that's what I mean. Like, I've seen some of the videos that he's actually put in his documentaries, some of them on YouTube and whatnot. And it seems strange that, like I said, we just don't have like these really amazing, definitive, up close type of, things. It's like lights in the sky. Some people have actually accused him of rigging like lasers in the sky, or calling him out for saying that actual flares, like training flares from a military airplane, were UFOs. Things like this. So he's taken a lot of heat for some other things. All right, and of course he charges a lot of money to go to these retreats, to meet him in these CE5 things, the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, where he summons the UFOs and teaches people to do it. All right, so like it's many thousands of dollars type thing. So, and he's taken a lot of heat for that, which again, like I don't know. The thing is that with that, I mean, if the guy really has like a great experience, and you want to be part of that experience, and you want to pay for it, go pay for it. It's cool. Like I'm not mad he's making a lot of money doing it. But it does seem strange that if it's something so important to humanity, that basically we're talking like disclosure of alien life here, that he is charging a bunch of money for it. I mean, that part seems a little sus, right? So I don't know. Like again, let the man make his money. I'm not mad about that. Many people are, though. And so anyway, just kind of as we go, that's who Steven Greer is. That's kind of the nutshell version. Of course, it goes way deeper than that. We've got his website up, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff from his website, some of the claims he's made. He wrote an actual statement, sort of a rebuttal to the UAP report that just came out not too long ago. So anyway, that's what's on deck tonight. We're going to talk about Dr. Steven Greer and some of the claims he's made, and not only that, some of the bizarre drama that's going on now. Now, Lou Elizondo, this is the weird part, right? They say that he actually had his emails deleted. That the Pentagon went ahead and just deleted all of his emails because they didn't want them, presumably didn't want them to come out in like a FOIA request or something like this, right? And so that's kind of the plot thickens, right? So it's like, all right, now why are they covering up basically emails that are from a former employee that supposedly worked for ATIP, right? The Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. I don't know. Like, that's a good question, right? And not only that, it seems like the Pentagon is trying to smear him. They're trying to make it difficult for Lou Elizondo to do what he's doing. And what he's doing is, of course, he's making a disclosure project. Like he's trying to get information out of the government, right? And that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. Let's see. MJ says it's not demonic. They will come if you ask. Okay. Yeah, because some people have speculated that when you summon UFOs, that there's a demonic element to it, that you're not actually summoning UFOs, you're summoning other things, right? And we've talked about that in other shows as well. So in any case, like, getting back to what I was saying there is that because they're covering up what Lou was doing, deleting emails and kind of smearing him from the Pentagon, right? He actually filed suit with a lawyer. Now, this is where it gets dicey and gets like kind of drama, like kind of drama. Wait till you hear this one if you haven't heard this. So he filed suit against the Pentagon to the what's it called? The Inspector General, the IG, right? So he's actually basically implying and saying that the Pentagon is trying to cover up the things he's saying. They're trying to smear him. They're trying to say he didn't work for them, things like this, right? And so they're actually bringing like an official suit toward the government for slander or something like this to try and basically get it corrected in the record that he did work for them and the rest of this stuff, okay? But then this lawyer is named Danny Sheehan, all right? And oddly enough, this Danny Sheehan fellow plays a prominent role in this documentary, in the Cosmic Hoax Exposé, right? Done by Steven Greer. And now the bizarre part about this is, so we have Danny Sheehan, this representing Lou Elizondo in a kind of like a cover-up and slander sort of claim against the United States government through the Inspector General, all right? That's what's happening with that. But then Danny Sheehan is representing him in that. But in this actual documentary, if you haven't seen it, if you have, great. If you haven't, watch it after. And basically, Steven Greer and Danny Sheehan are kind of crapping all over Lou Elizondo and calling him a disinformation agent, calling him a liar, right? I mean, Danny Sheehan doesn't say it directly, but you would expect, right? Like if that's his client, he wouldn't be in this documentary where literally Steven Greer is claiming that all of them, Mellon, Lou Elizondo, the whole deal, that they're all just lying CIA disinformation experts, right? So, like I kind of said where I didn't want to go last night is, I'm going to stop short of calling people liars just because I don't know the information they got. And as I said, I suspect they may have been given poor information. So it's hard to call somebody a liar when their source is actually lying to them. So that's what I'm saying. That's where I stand on that. But the thing is this. Steven Greer says the entire disclosure project, the whole Tom DeLonge thing, the entire Chris Mellon, the Lou Elizondo, and all of this stuff is all just a big psyop, right? It's all like a big disinformation campaign, and it's to control a narrative to boost a military budget, right? Something like this. And then he's saying that the threat is the threat narrative. All right. The threat is the threat narrative. Now, we'll get into some specifics of other things that he's saying in this and on his website and some of these other claims he's made. Steven Greer, that is. But it's strange, right? Is it strange that we have these two conflicting disclosure advocates, all right, that are basically on different teams, represented or at least, right, kind of tied to the same lawyer that, you know, one guy is slandering the other guy and the lawyer is with them both. I mean, you know, like as they say with lawyers, right? Like you should never be surprised because lawyers are kind of slimy, right? And, you know, I mean, that's the way it is. But it is odd. It is odd. And so it's like drama. It's basically turned into UFO drama. And of course, as you would expect, it's completely divided the UFO community, and it's been insane, right? It's kind of been insane the last several days with people kind of, you know, taking up for this guy or that guy or trying to make sense of this or what the heck is going on. But yeah. Anyway, so if you want to be part of the show tonight, if you've seen this documentary, fantastic. If you haven't, like I said, make sure you watch it after this or sometime tomorrow or the next day, whatever, when you get some time. It's a little over an hour long, and it's not bad. Like I said, I was a little bit surprised that I was happy with it. I was happy. I was entertained, let's say. And so it's you know, it's hard to complain if you were entertained. You know what I'm talking about? So excuse me as I laugh at myself and choke. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we'll put you on the show. You can talk to me and whoever else out there might be listening and give your thoughts on this. What do you think about this whole weirdness of, you know, one lawyer, two different camps of disclosure, one going for the government, one saying buy my app and summon the UFOs. I mean, like I said, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, and this is exactly what's going on right now. So it's strange. No, it's strange. It's one of those things that kind of makes me wonder. Let's say it definitely makes me wonder. So anyway, we're reading the chat again. We're Facebook, D Live, YouTube, broadcasting on the Fringe FM, and we're talking about Dr. Steven Greer tonight and his Exposé. The Cosmic Hoax and Exposé. And here we go. This is from his Serious Disclosure website, and these are the same things that the same claims that he's making. All right. Here we go. One, we do not know what these UAPs, UFOs are. He says we definitely do. Humans cannot make craft that can maneuver like UFOs. We can, and we do, he says. And of course, those are those alien reproduction vehicles, like Ash was talking about that one time when we did a show on that. So it's you know, like there's some basis for some of the things he's saying, right? Like I don't think he's like so far out there that the things he says are just all over the place. He's, you know, anyway, I'll leave that up to you. You decide. But at number 3, he says the UFOs are a threat. That's the other lie, and they are not a threat. He says that they are not. So there you go. There's his website, SeriousDisclosure.com, and that's SIRIUS, not the other kind of serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really serious about this. No, the other kind of serious. So if you want to check it out, please do. And that's what we're talking about tonight. It seems strange to me that we have so much UFO drama with a lot of this stuff happening, but it is what it is. Like I said, truth seems to be stranger than fiction sometimes. And so we're going to explore a little bit of what Dr. Steven Greer said in his Exposé, The Cosmic Hoax, and some of the other claims that he's made about what's happening with aliens in our world today, because he's got some pretty big claims. If you have not followed him, you may be surprised at some of the things that he claims are happening. So anyway, as we finish this up and get to the bottom of the hour, we are going to take a quick break. And like I said, if you want to be part of the show tonight, give us a call. The phone number is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We are talking about Dr. Steven Greer and his Cosmic Hoax and some other things regarding aliens, UFOs, and the like. Kind of like how we do it. And this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More after the break. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I am your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls tonight as we discuss all the weirdness that's going on with Dr. Steven Greer, with the disclosure, with this government, more cover-ups of Lou Elizondo deleting his emails, and what in the world is really happening here. Like I said, truth seems to be stranger than fiction, and that is just the world we live in. And of course, don't forget the additional drama of the lawyer that's working with both sides here, as one side slanders the other. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know. I think that's probably not a cool thing. I don't know. I have no idea. But I think the thing is this, though, right? Like as we discuss this, I'll pull up some of the Steven Greer stuff and we'll look at his webpage. But we are taking your phone calls. I want to hear what you think about this stuff. So if you want to be a part of the show, number to call is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can go to troubledminds.org, the official website of the show, click the Discord link, and hop on in, and we'll put you on the show. Simple as that. Just jump in the caller queue, actually. Okay, so now let's get to Steven Greer. Let's get to Steven Greer. Now, this is again from his SeriousDisclosure.com site, and so he's got the entire the documentary up there, like you would expect, right? You would expect him to, he has you click it, and it takes you to the cosmic hoax. He's calling it an Exposé, and saying that there's not just a cover up, that the individuals involved are actually lying, right? This huge psyop going on. Like, that's kind of one of the main premises of his show, of this thing here. But let's look at so you know who Dr. Steven Greer is. Okay, he's got like this comprehensive assessment of the UFO ETI phenomenon. Okay, and this is way back to 1991. So this is the stuff that he's been kind of doing and looking at and talking about, and all the rest of this. So let's look at just some of this. All right, general conclusions, he says. Now, this is again from Dr. Steven Greer. Number one here: some UFOs are extraterrestrial spacecraft which are piloted by extraterrestrial biological entities, which are EBEs, of course, who originate on another planet, most likely another star system. All right. Number two: more than one extraterrestrial civilization is represented in the current activities involving Earth. And this is stuff we've heard before, right? Depending on the source, some people are saying these things, and that the aliens are here, they've been here, and it's nothing new, and nobody should be surprised by this. Well, okay, he's basically saying that's exactly what's going on here. And so let's continue here. Let's keep on looking at some more of this. From, like I said, this is kind of more like an overview of the things that Dr. Steven Greer believes and has kind of been pushing or pressing here. Okay. So here we go. Number three, these extraterrestrial civilizations are working in concert and not competitively, although there is some specialization in function and activities for the various groups. This indicates that there exists either an emerging or well-established organization for these groups. All right, so he says the aliens are working together. Okay, they're here, and it's one of those things where, well, is this real, right? Like, I don't know. And then this was again way back in 91. This is before he started with the CE5 stuff, the summoning the UFOs and that bit, right? Some people think it's demonic, and some people think that summoning the UFOs is legitimate, like you call them and they'll come, that type of thing. So I don't know. I don't really have a good idea here based on this, because to be honest, I've never tried to call. Maybe I should. Maybe I should go out and talk, or maybe I don't know how you do it. Anybody know how you do this? Is it like a meditation type function thing, and that's how you call the aliens down? I don't know. What's up, Shamanics? Surely you can't be serious. Exactly. Exactly right. But okay, so there's more. Kind of give you just a brief overview, if you don't know who Dr. Steven Greer is, the things that he kind of claims, all right? So there's more here. He says, while various reports and speculations exist, we cannot at this time definitively state which planets or star systems are the home systems for these beings. Any specific information on this subject is very likely to be incorrect due to the security considerations of these beings. That is, given human tendencies towards war, aggression, and violence, open disclosure of their planets of origin would put these planets at potential risk should human military interests unravel the energy and propulsion technology of their craft. Okay, see? Now he's saying that we don't know what's going on with these. We don't know where they're from because, well, it's to protect the ETs from the Earth, from the Earth people, the mean Earth people that are going to go steal their technology and go to Alpha Centauri or wherever the heck it is and wage war, intergalactic war, as it were. You know, I say that a little bit tongue in cheek because it sounds out there, right? It sounds a little out there, waging intergalactic war. So let's see. Okay. All right. So I got you, Penny. I got the message. Copy that. Okay. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're talking about this Steven Greer stuff, Lou Elizondo, and at some point Ash is supposed to come join us. So like I said, he's a little bit delayed with Mars dust storm or something or other. So you know how Mars weather can be unpredictable. So, but anyway, that's what's going on. If you want to be part of the show tonight, I want to hear what you think about this. So not just about maybe some of the drama going on, if you didn't know, between Steven Greer saying that Lou Elizondo is a disinformation agent and he's lying about all of it, and you know the lawyer in between him and all the rest of this, or even more clearly that's just kind of like the poo-fling and drama fest. But more than that, there are pretty large implications here if the things that Dr. Steven Greer is saying are true, in that we've been creating these alien reproduction vehicles, right? We've actually been making these things, he says. And so it lends some credibility, if you believe Steven Greer, to the Bob Lazar story, right? And I know Bob Lazar is one of those guys that's very, very polarizing in the UFO community and probably many other communities as well. But he's the guy that kind of in 1989 said that he reversed engineered UFOs at Area 51 and the rest of that. So Dr. Steven Greer says we are doing that, and I don't know. You tell me. So if you want to be part of the show, love to hear what you guys think about this stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to think because there's a lot to it, and it's pretty dense, right? We're talking about aliens are here, he says. So anyway, 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org. Love to hear your thoughts on this. And if you've seen this, his disclosure, the Cosmic Hoax project, the Exposé, if you've seen that, like I said, it's a little more than an hour long, and it's not bad. It's an okay watch. Like I said, I was entertained, and that's all you can expect, right? If you're entertained, well, you know, it wasn't terrible. All right. So anyway, let's get back to this. Now again, this is straight from his website, the Comprehensive Assessment of the UFO ETI Phenomenon. All right, and this is straight from his Serious Disclosure website. I'm going to link this and you guys can follow along if you prefer. But some of the things he claims are again, you know, like difficult to believe, right? Like pretty difficult to believe because, well, you know, if aliens are here, how come we still don't have a picture of one, right? How about that? You know, like there's some paradoxical stuff here that's like, well, okay, if all these things he's saying are true, then it should be easy to, you know, put like a Nordic alien in the zoo, right? And put them behind bars. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Maybe not, but you see what I'm talking about. Like you'd expect way more sightings and maybe like a clear photograph of one of these things at some point, and it kind of has not happened. So anyway, let's continue. So he says they don't know the star systems that these aliens are from, but they're definitely here and doing their thing. And where this comes in, who the heck knows? So it continues. All right. The variety in sizes and shapes of ETs observed is due to A, varying civilizations of origin, and more importantly, B, specialization of function, which include general reconnaissance, medical research, central command and base operations, energy generation and transfer, and human technology, military and space program research and reconnaissance. All right. Now this is what I'm talking about. This is where he's saying specifically about particular aliens out there, ETs as it were. They have particular functions, and that's why they're different sizes and different shapes and things like this, right? And why some of them fly different craft. It's because he's saying this, right? And I don't know, right? Like I said, it's hard to reconcile all this without a little bit more proof, right? A little more proof. So anyway, it continues. Sudden and fully open contact with human civilization has been avoided because of a number of interrelated factors. So he says that they're kind of hiding from us, right? They don't want sudden and fully open contact, and that's right here from his website. And he says the reason for this is threefold. Number one, they need to avoid an untimely disruption of Earth civilization, including military, political, geopolitical, cultural, economic, technological, and religious upheaval. And that's what we've heard a lot, right? We've heard that humanity is not ready for contact, right? Because people would freak out, systems would break down, things like this. It would cause more harm than good. Though you got to admit, if this is true, don't you think that we'd be able to alleviate some of that with, alien tech, right? Put us, maybe head us into that post-scarcity world, kind of like the Star Trek world, right? It would, even if society broke down fast, if suddenly they were like, well, we can teleport you to the moon, wouldn't you chill out pretty quick? If you were freaking out, you'd be like, oh, that doesn't sound so bad. Let's try that, right? You know what I'm saying? So something like that. Or, oh, by the way, here's our 0-point energy machine, right? Free energy for all, right? No carbon emissions and no cost to you. It's amazing, right? Things like this. Who knows? Who knows what kind of actual technology ETIs would have? So I don't know. Like I said, some things in this make some sense to me. Some things are cognitive dissonance, let's say. But okay, he continues. So part 2 of this, the reason why they haven't openly contacted us is this: risks to their own civilization and people, as well as overall mission, given human xenophobia and tendencies toward violent armed reactions. And I think he's got us there. Humans are kind of terrible. We like to go to war. Well, I don't know if anybody likes to go to war, but let's say the elites sure as hell like to push us to war. How about that? I think that's the weird part here, right? So anyway, he's saying that the ETs don't want a full-out war. And so with us, because we're basically a terrible group of people, and we fight and kill each other and all kinds of stuff. They don't want to be part of that. Number 3, he says, this other reason why they actually have not been part of our civilization in an open disclosure and said, hey, guys, we're here, by the way, is this. Up to this time, such massive and open contact has not been necessary and has not been consonant with their overall long-term mission and purpose. And since their purpose is not acquisition-oriented or disruptive. All right, which means they're here, right? I mean, he's saying they're here. And there's a number of reasons why it is like it is. So kind of like I said, maybe we haven't seen these aliens up close, on a press conference type of thing, because they're avoiding it. They don't want to be part of whatever's going on here. Good stuff in the chat, guys. I see you there. Sleepy, what's up, says, he talks a good game, but it's not confirmable. Seems a lot of government agenda misinformation and just plain old money grabbing. And it could be. I think that's a little bit what we're talking about here is who do we believe now? Now, we have these two factions of disclosure. Steven Greer is one. We have Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, and that camp doing their thing, trying to get information from the government. One guy's selling an app where he says you could summon UFOs with his phone app. The other guy is saying, well, I know I worked in the inside, and the things that I know would scare you, right? He's very much hinted at that, who Lou Elizondo has. So the one guy saying things are scary, the other guy saying the ETs are not a threat. So again, right? It almost seems like the entire thing's a psyop, does it not? like not just maybe the disclosure effort that I'm kind of crapping on quite a lot, but which is of course Lou and those guys, because of plot holes, not because, again, I'm not accusing anybody of lying here, but because of some plot holes in some of the things that they're trying to do. But then you have this other guy, Steven Greer, that's saying that no, you can summon UFOs. If you call them, they do come, and they're not a threat whatsoever. They are not here to be malevolent at all, and we shouldn't be afraid of them in any capacity, right? So, like I said, I don't know. There's a lot to this. You guys know what I think. I'm on this microphone an awful lot, but I want to know what you think. Now, kind of with just the brief here of what's going on specifically, what do you think about this now? Now that you've kind of been, if you're not aware of Dr. Steven Greer, now you know some of the things he believes. His website's a good resource. It's a good read, lots of good information there. But I'd love to hear what you guys think regarding this. Is this just more drama, right? More poo-flinging, people doing people and creating drama out of nothing? Or is this really like the fight over the disclosure process, which, again, if all this is real, And the claims these guys are making, it means that the world is about to change, is it not? I think it does. But what do you think? 702-957-1037. We're taking your phone calls. troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link and get your ass in the Discord, and we'll talk about aliens and disclosure and some of the rest of this stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to think other than it's entertaining as hell. How about that? Kind of like I said, truth at some point, truth is stranger than fiction, right? And so who could have scripted this? We have, one guy saying you could summon UFOs, calling the other guy a disinformation agent, a lawyer that's working with both of them, which again just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, aren't there any other lawyers in the world, guys? Like, what the heck is going on? What's up, Jay Winch? Good night. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right, so so here we go. Bailey says this: it could be both scary and not a threat, like something that is harmful to the human psyche based on our own societal standards. Which I get it, like I understand, but don't you think we'd overcome that pretty quickly with the technology boost? That's kind of my point, is that I think whatever societal collapse or problems we would have would be easily remedied by technology. Would be hopefully, assuming they'd want to share it with us, and that's a big assumption, right? What's up? Sleepy Rain says, a giant psyop. It seems like it, right? Like kind of from both sides, like they're both maybe even inadvertently working together, or maybe not knowing it, but they're pitted against each other in from like a government kind of a stoke in the fire here. Who knows? But anyway, so we're talking about this cosmic disclosure, and we'll get to some amazing stuff too that's in this regarding racism. Yeah, that's right. Exo-racism. We'll get to that term and play a little clip from the show, from the Steven Greer show here, and I really couldn't believe it when I was listening to that. But I digress. We'll get to that a little later. Going to tease that for what's coming, and exo-racism, right? Oh boy. All right. So just a little bit more background on Dr. Steven Greer and with the things he believes. All right. So they're not trying to open up a dialogue or actual disclosure for a number of reasons, which we just read here. Here's a little bit more from the Sirius Disclosure, SIRIUS disclosure.com, the site of Dr. Steven Greer. All right. And this is pretty cool, actually, because we've never actually done a full show on Steven Greer. So I think maybe the timing is good for this. But okay. Let's continue. It says, a plan is in place to allow for gradually broader and deeper contact with human society and individuals so that humans may become accustomed to the reality of other intelligent beings in the universe, and so that needed research and observation may take place on both sides. Limited but increasing opportunities for bilateral and human-initiated contact will occur in the reasonably near future. So he's saying that it is, and this is way back to 1991. He was saying this, that disclosure is on the way. There's a plan, and I wonder, it kind of makes you wonder if Steven Greer is part of that plan. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he says, sudden and large-scale contact will occur only in the event of a significant worldwide emergency, which would be man-made or natural. And so some people have suggested that there's, the aliens are here and they're friendly and they're basically waiting for World War III to happen so they could step in and stop it, right? Something like this. I'm not so sure about that. But I don't know. There's a lot here that's kind of it's hard to take in, because, like I said, if you can summon UFOs on demand, let's show me the aliens, right? Where's the beef? All right, a little bit more here. So, while ETI observation and interaction with Earth is probably an ancient as opposed to purely modern phenomenon, the marked increase in activity coinciding with World War II and the dawning of the nuclear age indicates that ETI are quite concerned with this transitional stage of human social evolution. They are particularly concerned about human nuclear weapons and technology and their potential for worldwide destruction, and possibly for their potential threat to ETI, although this is nominal. These beings are further concerned with our peaceful transition to a world society, international peace, and the establishment of a just, effective, and representative world government expected to occur in 10 to 15 years or less. Now, I can't deny that. I think it's pretty clear that the powers that be want a one world government. Now, how much better that will be, I think, is probably open to to interpretation. But it seems to me that, well, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that because, well, we'll talk about the New World Order and some of this stuff. But yeah, this is what he's saying, right? He's saying that the aliens are waiting for us to get our stuff straight and be able to have this one world government where everything's going to be Shangri-La, right? Everything's going to be happy. And, well, I don't know about happy, but, maybe stop the wars. Isn't it a little weird, too, that if you say one world government and then you're like, well, then there's no enemies to fight, right? Right? No, because they'll make some. They'll make some. I don't know. Like this is what I'm talking about. Anyway, I got you, Penny. We'll add a moderator here in just a sec. A lot of information going on with this, and like I said, there's some pretty big claims from Dr. Steven Greer regarding this cosmic hoax, right? So again, like I said, we do know what the UAPs and UFOs are. He says the government is fully aware of this, and humans cannot make craft that maneuver is false. Like these things, saying we do, these alien reproduction vehicles, saying they're out there. And he actually, in the documentary here, he goes through some, he's got these little models, which I think was kind of a cool way to describe this and discuss it. He's got like the little TR-3B shaped, like a little model airplane, right? And he's got these different UFO shapes, and he's describing what to look for if you want to find out if it's ETs or if it's man-made, right? Saying there's the UFOs of the two different types. And he's describing it saying if you look underneath, like on the TR-3B, and you can see any sort of like anything that basically looks man-made, then it is. Like if you see like wiring or things like this, things that don't look, it would be like alien tech. That's how he describes it, and so you're able to differentiate between what an alien craft might look like and what a government built UFO may look like. So like I said, pretty good stuff. I'm not going to play a bunch from the video itself because again, copyright reasons, and you should probably watch it in its full context. I will play the clip about exo racism because that's hilarious. But anyway, as we continue talking about this is the deal, right? We have the cosmic hoax and Exposé by Dr. Steven Greer. I don't know. What do you guys think about Steven Greer? Do you think he's I don't know. I'm not going to put some words out there for you guys to maybe clamp onto here, but what do you think about him? What do you think about him? Is he good? Is he bad? Is he on the right track? Is he just making stuff up? Is it something or other? What do you think? Anywhere in between. That's what we're doing. That's what we're talking about tonight. And as you know, that's what we do. We get together and we get weird and talk about weird stuff. So like I said, at some point, I think Ash is still going to join us. It's a little bit late now, but we still should have Ash, the reptilian from Mars, on the way. And we're still discussing Steven Greer, and not just his cosmic hoax and Exposé, where he talks about government cover-ups of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. Now he's also trying to say that all of the things going on with the Disclosure Project and Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, and these guys is false. And it's a bunch of hooey, and they're lying to us with just another PSYOP type cover-up. So that's what's on deck tonight. That's what we're doing. And like I said, we're always taking your phone calls, and we haven't had a single one yet, oddly enough. If you guys want to be part of the show, you know what to do. Give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and we'll put you on the show. You can talk to me, whoever else might be listening, and discuss the weirdness that is the disclosure efforts going on today. We'll see what tomorrow brings, but today is what we're looking at. So there you go, 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and we're talking about aliens. We're talking about conspiracy. That's right. We're talking about all the things we love to think about. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. More when we come back.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and this is a show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. We're streaming live on DLive, Facebook, and YouTube. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, we're talking about UFOs, disclosure, Dr. Steven Greer, Lou Elizondo, and the drama that has been ensuing with this entire, well, let's just call it, well, I'll let you make up a word for it. But anyway, that's what's on deck. That's what we're talking about tonight. If you want to be part of the show at any point, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We got a call. So let's go to the call, shall we? Let's see if I can make this, will it fade? I think it's already fading. There we go. Let's fade out the music and let's go to this phone call. Thank you for being patient and waiting. Let's go to whoever this is. Welcome to the show. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Rose.
Rose, what's happening? Rose, how are you tonight?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing very well as well. What is on your mind tonight? Do you have a dog in this fight with the alien disclosure stuff, or do you think it's something else entirely here?
I mean, I might have a completely different perspective on alien stuff since I have had some abduction stuff as a child and have seen a lot of alien aircrafts during my life. I think that these beings are trying to help us.
Okay.
And I think there might be a government situation where they're trying to make these alien energies minute through corruption and control.
Okay, so
but that's just my own experience. So I don't really know much about this person you're talking about, but I know my own experience, and I'm interested in hearing about your experience.
Okay, actually, regarding so regarding UFOs, I've only seen a couple. I've never had like an actual like abduction type experience, if that's what you mean. So that's really all. Yeah. Yeah, that's really all I've seen. So, in two different cases where, some of it was impressive, some of it was less. Like one was kind of a group of orbs kind of maybe circling each other. It looked like they were dancing in the sky. That was down there southeast of Las Vegas, down near Boulder City. And then the other one was I saw like a really high, maybe it looked like a star, but it was traveling extremely fast. But that could have been like a military thing, kind of like that. So that's pretty much my entire that's my entire experience basically with this type of thing. Other than talking about it an awful lot, are you able to share some of your experiences there? Have you actually had like an abduction experience?
Yeah. I would love to share my experience. When I was 14, I was sitting in the back of my parents' van, and we were driving home from Sedona, and it seemed like everybody fell asleep but me. And I looked up into the sky, and I saw like 40 aircrafts moving around, but it seemed like everybody else was asleep. And it was pretty profound because I remember trying to wake everyone up. Even though they were driving, they couldn't talk to me. and it was really profound because I was the only one that was awake and witnessing this, and everyone seemed to be unconscious in a state.
Okay.
So,
Can you describe what they look like? You said there were maybe like 40 craft in the sky, sort of like airplanes. Could you describe a color or a shape? Did you get any of those details?
yeah. Well, they were moving around really fast, and it looked like they were like part of a group, and it's almost like they were talking to me personally, and everyone else was kind of in this state of sleeping, or I don't even know how to explain it, because obviously my parents were driving, but I was not able to reach them, and I wasn't asleep. So it was a bizarre state of conscious awareness, I guess.
Okay. And did they...
but I've also...
Go ahead.
I've also had some connections to... So for my work, I do clairvoyant energy medicine. That's like what I do. And I'm pretty attuned to these other beings, which you've been talking about. And I think they're here to help us. And I think they want to support us in our growth. But there's some governmental things that are blocking them from supporting us.
Okay.
What I've picked up on.
Okay. So just a couple more questions about your experience there, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you feel definitely that they're here to help. So was there any fear with that initial contact? Was it kind of like a telepathic thing? Can you explain how that happened?
No. There was no fear at all. It was like a welcoming feeling. Like you're home. You're surrounded by friends. In my childhood, and I've always had experiences with aliens or whatever UFOs following me since the time I was a child. So that was just one instance. But they've always been super warm and super friendly. And if anything, there's a sense of they want to support us, but the way our government is structured, they're not allowed to come in because they feel like they're infringing on social privacy and social, like collective personal freedom. So they kind of stay back. But I kind of feel like what's happening in the world right now, like there's a sense of they want to come forward and support us because we have a lot of corruption going on right now, and they want to be there for us.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. And then so after this first incident, you had this first experience. Has this happened again since then? Is this like a repeatable thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, like ever since I was a little girl, I felt like I was looking up to the stars, and there's been times during my sleep where I felt like there were other energies coming to me and talking to me and giving me information and trying to help me, not just me, but like the collective. So, yeah, I'd say, yes, it's happened throughout my life, but after that instance, it's been more during sleep. But these energies, these alien beings, I feel like, sorry, I feel like you want to interrupt.
No, go right ahead. You're just listening to what you're saying. Go right ahead.
I feel like these alien beings do not want to infringe on the human progression and their soul, because that's karmically stepping a bound. And so they step back to let us sort of like take charge of our life. But I also feel like there's some governmental things going on that is pushing these alien beings to maybe show themselves in the next few years, because they're connected to us. They're connected to how we were born, in a way, the way we were genetically created. And so they have kind of stepped aside, but we're not being properly treated right now. And so I think in the next few years we might have an appearance.
Okay, and you're not the only one who believes that too. That there's a lot of folks that believe that this disclosure thing is it's going to happen, and it's only a matter of time now. And some have described even kind of like this disclosure process with the government as being part of that. So I don't know. Like I'm with you.
I think it is.
You think it is?
It is.
Okay.
I think this government pressure to vaccinate and to conform is kind of pressuring these alien beings to step in to give us another option to grow forward, because they know that the way we're being treated right now is not really healthy or accurate or good for humanity. So the more that this energy happens, I think they're going to be pressured to come in and talk to us.
Gotcha. Okay. So do you have any idea where they might be from? Did you get any information about maybe a particular star system or anything like this, or even what they look like? Could you tell us any of that stuff?
Yeah. So what I've gotten is that there's 12 different 12 different solar systems that they come from. It's called the Council of 12, and they come from 12 different places in the universe, and they are here to help support us in our humanity and help us grow. I mean, there's the Pleiades, Sirius. There's 12 different places in the solar system. I won't go into all of them, but they're in a council. It's like a panel of sorts, and they overwatch us, and they're here to help us grow. And there's a point where when our government becomes too constrictive and oppressive, they might show themselves.
Okay, I hope so.
Because there's no other option.
Because, well, the crackdown's coming, so the aliens are late. They should have been here last year. And, of course, I'm just making jokes here, because clearly meaning that the government crackdown is, like you said, it's becoming more draconian. That's another theme of this show as well, is that it's not
becoming draconian.
Yeah, it's not good.
And one of the councils is the reptilians. But on the council, the reptilian is obviously, like, supportive of human beings. But things have not become so oppressive to the human race before now, and they're connected to us in that they helped create us through Nibiru and the Anunnaki.
Yeah, Anunnaki. Yeah.
So at some point, they're gonna have to step in, because the government forces that have been with us lately are not really respecting us. So there is going to be a step in, probably in the next 3 years.
Okay,
I would say.
Okay, fantastic. You are a first-time caller. How did you find our show? Did you find us on Facebook kind of randomly?
I found you on Facebook. Yeah.
Right on. It works. It works. Rose, I appreciate the phone call. Thanks for enlightening us and letting us know what some of this stuff is going on. And I appreciate it. Would you call us back in the future as well?
I would be happy to.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks for calling. Thanks for spending your time with us tonight. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks a lot. You too.
All right.
That's Rose from Facebook, and interesting stuff there. This is why we do the show in this format, because many times people don't want to share these type of experiences because people will thumb their nose at them or call them crazy or some of this other stuff. But I think there's some compelling evidence to suggest that these visitations or abductions do happen, right? I mean, there's back to Betty and Barney Hill, like you guys are saying in the chat there. Like there's some things that have gone down in the past that seems like maybe this stuff is really going down, and then we have experiencers able to call in and explain what happened and how they can communicate with these entities and the rest of this stuff. Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff there. Thanks, Rose, for the call. Appreciate that. And lines are open for you guys. If you guys want to be part of the show, you know what to do. Phone number is up right on the stream there, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. That's a chat client, voice client, and you can be on the show that way. It's totally free, and it's a good conversation going on 24 hours a day in there. Lots of smart people sharing links and ideas and things like this. Yeah, great caller. Fantastic stuff. It is very, very good to hear people with firsthand accounts, right, that have had actual visitation type stuff. We've had several call in before in the past. And it is, right? Like I said, there's no way, no better way than to hear your stories straight from you instead of, again, filtered by the newspaper or, some crappy YouTube channel trying to take it out of context or leave out details, things like this. So it's this is why we do this. That's exactly why we do it. So thank you again for the phone call there. Now, as we're continuing talking about this, so Rose there believes that along with this Dr. Steven Greer fellow, that they're not here to hurt us, that they're here to help us, right? And so there's some other stuff, right? There's some contradictory stuff with that. Like there's some good stuff from Brian in the Facebook chat. He says conducting horrific medical experimentation on intelligent sentient beings against their will isn't supportive; it's malicious. And so that, of course, would be the abduction phenomena and some of the things they've said with the hybridization and, taking DNA from people and things like this, which has been discussed quite a lot in UFO circles. So I don't know. Like, again, it seems to make sense both ways if this is really happening. If all the things that Steven Greer is kind of laying out as part of his comprehensive assessment here on the state of extraterrestrial intelligence and all the rest of this, he says that they're here. He says they're here. What's up, Sleepy says, abductions are real, but just maybe it's our own government. Maybe do deep dives into the secret programs our government has done and continue to do. And I kind of agree. I think I'm of two minds with this, meaning that clearly we have UFOs of our making in some capacity. Like I said, go listen last night's show, and you'll see what I mean. We're definitely capable of making something that we're seeing out there. And then, so that's one style, one kind of UFO to me. There's ours, and then I think there's theirs, right? Their UFOs. And who they are, I don't know. I can't tell you. I have no idea. But that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about Dr. Steven Greer. We're talking about some of the drama going on with his thing here. And after the break, after we get to the bottom of the hour, we'll get into that exo-racism a little bit, which seems, like I said, it seems a little out there. But yeah, you'll see as we do it. But we're taking your phone calls. What do you guys think about all of this stuff? Is it an actual good disclosure project going on, or do you think there's something nefarious with the government, with Steven Greer, with Lou Elizondo? What do you guys think? Fantastic call to get us going, and looking to hear from you guys. 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. All right, let's go back to this document just real quick to kind of, again, outline some of the things that Steven Greer has been saying. And this is it from his comprehensive assessment of the UFO and ETI phenomenon, all right? So here we go, linking it back in the chat so you guys can follow along if you prefer to. And this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Yeah. So if when we're done here, if Rose, you will have an archive. It's going to stay up on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere else. So you can, if you want me to make you an MP3, like an audio, I can do that. If you recall, I can do that for you. Just let me know. Okay, so let's do this. We have more from Dr. Steven Greer. All right. He says this: ETI technology is strictly guarded by both extraterrestrial intelligence and human governmental agencies because of its potential for military applications, which would greatly threaten world security. It is imperative that this technology not found significant human applications until such time as the Earth attains international peace and an effective world government. And so there you go. The aliens, according to Steven Greer, want the government to have we want a one world government, right? So this continues. Let's see where we at time wise. We're good. And here we go. The U.S. government. This is again from SeriousDisclosure.com. This is Dr. Steven Greer's website. It says this: the U.S. government, at least at the level of a highly compartmentalized, above top secret group, has known about the reality of these ETs and their occupants since at least 1947, which of course is Roswell. A strict secrecy and a worldwide cover-up of these facts have been maintained due to these number of things. A, fear of public panic and social disruption. B, security issues surrounding possible military and technology applications of ETI technology, especially in the setting of a world beset with Cold War tensions and competing interests. C, uncertainty and mistrust regarding ETI motives and ultimate intentions. D, embarrassment and consternation over human military inability to secure world airspace from repeated penetration by ETs, which, yeah, right. And E, embarrassment and loss of face resulting from disclosures concerning how this matter has been handled, such as the harassment and ridicule of innocent civilians and military personnel, and the withholding of information from the public and Congress, etc. So, all right, that's a lot of information there from his website, and so he's claiming quite a lot of things, right? And that's really what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about Dr. Steven Greer being able to summon UFOs. We're talking about some of the drama that's happening with his documentary, and how he's basically saying that the other guys, Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, they're all government operatives that are lying to bring about more funding for the Pentagon. I don't know what's true here. I don't know who to believe. We got different sides saying different things. What do you believe? This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Looking to hear from you. More conversation about aliens, Dr. Steven Greer, and you after the break. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls. We're talking about Steven Greer. We're talking about aliens among us. We're talking about all kinds of things that seem unbelievable. What do you think? That's the question tonight. And if you believe this stuff, if you've had a personal experience, you could share like Rose did, or just your hot take on what's going on with this and the disclosure and the government lying and all the rest of this. It's up to you. And phone number's up, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. If you go to troubledminds.org, that's the official website. You can find the phone number and the Discord link there, and come tell us what you think about this. All right, well, let's continue, shall we? Let's get to this exo-racism bit. All right, actually, before we do that, Joe from Florida shared this article in the chat here before while we were on our break, and this is sort of the stuff that this is what I mean. People have accused Dr. Steven Greer of falsifying UFOs, right? By kind of making these things up. And, he's from the guy saying he can summon UFOs when you have reports like this where he faked, actual flares. Here it is from July 31st, 2020. Opinion. written by a Tom Rogan, a commentary writer. Did Steven Greer fake a UFO with flares? All right, so here we go. Let's read just a little bit of this, and then we'll get to the exo-racism. Dr. Steven Greer likes to suggest that he is in regular contact with extraterrestrials who are visiting Earth. Kindly, if for a price, Greer offers to train others in his close encounters of the fifth kind contact protocols. But is Greer really in contact with unidentified flying objects, or what the military refers to as UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena? All right, so, well, like the U.S. military, this guy here says, this is again from Tom Rogan, says that I'm very confident that some UFOs are true unknowns not belonging to China, United States, or Russia. Okay, clearly, we've said that exists for sure. And he continues, that said, I'm not convinced these objects are what Greer is seeing or communicating. A January 27, 2015 Greer contact event in Florida offers a case. The date saw Greer leading an expedition at Vero Beach on Florida's East Coast. Greer's website says his week-long expeditions come with a tuition fee of $2,500 to $3,500, depending on facility costs. The website explains that, quote, all of the ambassador to the universe trainings are similar. All participants are expected to compete in a return liability release, confidentiality agreement, and ambassador agreement, which will be sent after they have paid and registered. All right, so back to January 27th in 2015, when Greer's expedition claimed to have summoned 2 UFOs. Video of the sighting was posted on Greer's YouTube channel, and the incident was the first case listed on the photographic and video evidence page of Greer's website. Here's the, let's see, here we go. There's the actual link, photographic and video evidence. Let's put this up here. And so what they're saying is that he faked these UFOs with flares, right? With some sort of aircraft flares. He says the video starts with bright orange light appearing off the coast. Greer is heard directing a participant to please turn off your night scope. Note that a night scope would assist in detecting low visibility aircraft. Okay, so anyway, you can read this entire thing in its entirety, and yeah, I mean, he's been, and people have said that he's been faking this stuff with like lasers in the sky and stuff like this. Okay, so he does have his detractors that say he's kind of just making stuff up. All right, but let's hear what he has to say. Now, this is where things got a little bit off the rails in his documentary for me. And again, I'm going to link it if you guys want to watch this on your own time. I recommend it. Like I said, there's some things in this that I think is very well done. Other things, I just scratch my head. And we're going to watch one of the head-scratching moments here, because what in the world is going on? Here we go. So let's do this action. This is straight from Steven Greer in his documentary.
Fall into these camps of, well, there are the good aliens and the bad aliens. And the good aliens almost always look like someone from Norway. And the bad ones have different features or maybe darker. I'm going, this is racism. You just call it out what it is. This is absolutely racism extrapolated into an interspecies level.
Not just racism, but speciesism, which is even deeper. We have to try to overcome this. We have to train ourselves.
They're hoping that we as humans evolve out of this mindset of ingrained racist tribalism and not go down the path that these covert interests want us to do and extrapolate into space, push out into space the racist world we've had. I call it exo-racism.
Justification for war or genocide.
Okay, there it is. There it is. So the Nordic aliens, right, are white, he says. And so it's a fabrication by a racist society. And so now we're not just racist against each other. We are now racist against the aliens. And there's a new term. It's called exo-racism. Yeah, right? Like I said, I was like, wait, what? So, wait, say what? What are we talking about here? And yeah, like so it goes on to explain past that we are basically racist against the aliens, and by labeling them white or dark or scary or this or that or the other thing, we're kind of slandering the aliens when he says that they're not really here to hurt us. They're here. Yeah, right. What's up, Sleepy? This is too much alien racism, right? And this is what I mean. I'm not sure he realizes how ridiculous that sounds. I was like, what? like, really? All right. I guess this is where we're going, right? But in a world where everything is racist now, right? Which, again, don't get me wrong, racism definitely exists. You have to, right? You always have to say these things, because if you don't, people freak out and they're like, I knew it, Mike's a Nazi. No, Mike's not a Nazi, I promise you. But the thing is, right, like every single aspect of life doesn't have to be racism either, right? It's just not. It isn't. I'm sorry. It exists, yes, but holy crap. And so this, in particular, now we're talking about exo-racism. Exo-racism, right? I don't know. What's up? Richard says as spaceism, right? Oh, we got some hot takes in the chat. What's up? James says, does that mean we can't say cats are different from dogs? Because they are. There, I said it. Well, now apparently you're a Nazi too. Join the club. Let's see. What else is going on? As Bridget says, speciesism. Yes, exactly. Let's watch just a little bit more of this as they describe exactly what's happening with this exo-racism and where they say it comes from.
Always begins with dehumanization of the enemy. For example, as part of their anti-Semitic propaganda campaign, the Nazis revived the centuries-old blood libel, the allegation that Jews murder non-Jews, especially Christian children, in order to obtain blood for the Passover or other rituals. In order to lay the foundation for a false flag alien threat, the national security state has engaged in a similar propaganda campaign for decades, a cosmic blood libel.
The national security state apparatus and their media allies have been flogging that particular theory that these extraterrestrial civilizations are all here to eat us or to take over our planet and rape our women. You know, I mean, there's a whole scenario that's always gone on the part of authoritarian warrior states, you know, about the ultimate other, the Hun. 95% of all of the movies that have ever been made about extraterrestrial life have portrayed them as hostile. And
okay, I see. There it is. This exo-racism, speciesism. Now we are putting by making bad movies about aliens and their dark and demonic intentions, let's say. I added that for flair and effect. But if we're doing that and putting these aliens in these movies and they're only here to help us, then what in the world's going on? Then clearly we're just a bunch of racists, right? I mean, I don't know, speciesism, exo-racism. You see these terms, right? And this is what I'm saying. But notice, I'll get off of this. I'll get off the exo-racism bit. I just wanted to point out, like, what is going on here? But then what he's trying to say is that not only is the government lying to us about this, but he believes that Lou Elizondo and those guys are actually setting up the government for Project Bluebeam, which of course would be the fake alien invasion, right? So that's what's going on with this. I don't know the answers here, but Dr. Steven Greer is heavily implying that that's the deal. And these individuals that are trying to bring in disclosure through the government, he says, are government agents that are straight up, flat out lying to us, and they're doing it to actually do a something or other, to do a whatever's going on here, a false flag alien invasion. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I guess my gizmo just stopped working on Fringe. I guess I haven't been on Fringe. What's up? Sorry about that. I guess I should have been on Fringe and I wasn't. But all right, I think we're back. Anyway, so point is that we're talking about this Steven Greer thing. This false flag alien invasion, he says that it's being set up by Lou Elizondo and the rest of the government here for the false flag takeover, right, of our rights and all the rest of these things, which we've talked about quite a lot on this show. And, you know, the concepts behind this, of course. And even last night, it kind of came into it with the voice of God, or remember that voice of God weapon that we talked about last night. So, again, lots of interesting things coming out of this. And, yeah. I don't know. Go to some chat here. Looking to hear from you guys. What do you think about this stuff? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Sleepy says, Greer is trying to jump onto something he thinks will get him more attention, talking about racism. I don't like him at all. And there you go, right? There's a good take. Where are you guys at? We got the one phone call. There's many of you out there. 702-957-1037. And okay, thank you. I see you there. Thank you, TLC in Nevada. I appreciate that. I guess my thing clicked off, and I didn't realize it. So anyway, all right, we're back on the fringe. I guess we were off for a little bit there. So yeah, I don't know. This. Shamanic says, adding shameless virtue signaling to the UFO thing. WTF. And I don't know. Exo-racism, it becomes, you know what I mean? Like exopolitics is very, very, contentious anyway, because some people are like, nope, there's no aliens, get out of here. But now we're saying exo-racism. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, what do you guys think about the false flag? What do you think about Steven Greer? What do you think about these conflicting and competing disclosure efforts and narratives? Meaning that we have Steven Greer saying the aliens are not here to hurt us, they're here to help us, and having Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon and these guys kind of, again, like I said, they've backed off the threat narrative just a little bit. But it seems like they continue to say that, well, they may be a threat, they may not be, but we have to determine that. It's undetermined at this point. So I don't know, like very different things, right? And then Steven Greer accusing them of setting us up for a false flag alien invasion. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. You guys tell me, and looking to hear from you. Phone number is up, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Now let's play just a little bit more of this video. Now he's got a point in here where he's talking about like an actual alien autopsy. All right, so let's pull this up real fast, and we'll put this up on the screen here. Now the nutty part, right, is, let's see, here we go. That's not the spot? Let me find it. I had this. I had it set with timestamps, and I refreshed it and broke it. so now I don't have my timestamps. So bear with me just a sec. We're talking about these. Alien, now an alien autopsy, but we're talking about Steven Greer's The Cosmic Hoax and Exposé. What do you guys think about this, and what's happening? Let's listen to just a little bit of this and look at the alien autopsy that he claims is a real thing, and we'll go to a phone call here in just a sec. Let's go to this first.
At Walker Field, which is where Roswell is. At that time, she acquired this photo. How do we know? We tested the paper to establish that it was early 50s. And it's a photo of a photograph. And so we do a whole research project on it. We have it analyzed by the top medical archivists in the world, Dr. Burns in Manhattan, who establishes that it is the 1920s. We have the top clothing experts at the Metropolitan Museum of Art determined that those absolutely are from the 20s. So medically, clothing, everything. But if it is what we think it is, it means that there had been targeting and retrieval of extraterrestrial material and beings that are 20, 25 years before Roswell. And that opens another whole chapter. Now, the reason
Okay, interesting to note, right? So 25 years before Roswell, he's saying that they had this alien autopsy, and he's suggesting that picture is real, and saying that they had people verify that the clothing and the things are actually legitimate. So here we go. Let's go to James in Michigan. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds. Mike, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. What's your take on this disclosure stuff?
There's 2 points that things that I think about a lot of this, and just the paranormal in general. First of all, I think there should be a lot more focus on people's experiences than on just what any one person or one government says about what they think that is going on. And so just because there's so many people's experiences, if you just reach out and look, I mean, it seems like everybody has had something strange happen somewhere. That's my one point. The other point is I think, again, getting back to any kind of government or any kind of one person that says they're an expert, I think that no one can know everything for sure that what they're saying, or know for sure what they're saying is totally accurate. And So I think anytime anyone is saying something that is absolutely this way or that way, I don't always trust that.
Yeah, right. There's something to be said about the person with all the answers, because clearly not everybody knows everything. So I'm with you. I'm very suspicious of people that have all the answers, because the answers are not so easy to achieve. And even so, if they say they have government inside knowledge and this type of thing, they could be lied to anyway. So it's not like just because somebody says, "Oh, I have a source, right? On the inside, I know what's going on." Somebody might be lying to them. So it's hard, right? This is one of those things that's kind of a tough nut to crack, because I'm with you. I think that this is why we do the show in this format, to hear people's experiences directly, and so we can bypass all the media spin and all the other BS that they're putting out there, and just talk about this amongst ourselves. Like speaking of which, have you ever seen a UFO?
I haven't seen a UFO. I have had one experience that I still to this day don't know if it was a dream or if it was an abduction experience. And in that case, whether if it was humans or not humans, I don't know. I could go over it real quick. I don't know how close you are to the break.
We've got probably about 6 minutes, so you're good if you want to tell the story.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's pretty simple. I had this one night where I was, I basically found myself laying on a table. I couldn't move myself or anywhere. I could just kind of move my eyes a little bit. I am also legally blind, as some of the people here know. So, but I couldn't move, and I was in this room. I could see had like darker colored walls, but then they were white, almost like giant cabinets for electronics, like built into the walls.
Okay.
And I could see a few figures moving around me, but I could never see them clearly. They were just like regular size as far as height goes, but just blurs. I couldn't see anything clearly. And I, as they were moving around, I noticed that there was something above me, and it was coming down toward me. And as it was, whatever this was coming down, I tried to struggle, and I heard my parents' voices telling me it was okay. But it wasn't my parents. There was no emotion in their voices at all. And I couldn't understand why they'd be saying it was okay that there was something coming down from the ceiling toward me.
Holy smokes.
And it basically came down, and at the end of whatever this was, there was a needle. Now, this is kind of the scariest part for me is it came down towards my face and towards my eyes. And it came down, and I don't remember which eye it was, but it came down, and I felt something touch my eye. And that's when I woke up.
Wow. Holy smokes. And so, what do you think it was? Was it, like you said, maybe a dream state situation, or what's your, if you make the best guess, what do you think it was?
I don't know. That's why I say I hope it's a dream, because that would be the best case situation. But I don't know. And it was just the fact that I felt something. If I had just seen things, then that might have been different. But I felt something touch my eye.
Wow.
And then I woke up.
That's terrifying. There's a scene in the Fire in the Sky, the Travis Walton movie, where they're putting like the aliens are putting a needle in the guy's eye, and he's just kind of strapped down to the table. That's horrifying, man.
And see, I've never seen that movie, so
okay.
I know
yeah.
I didn't get it from there.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm just saying, like parallels, meaning that he says that something like that happened to him as well. So yeah. And
no, I'm not saying you're saying anything, but that's the interesting part too. Is I've never seen that. So
gotcha. Okay, wow, fantastic story, man. I appreciate that a lot. So what's your take then on Greer and the rest of this? We got maybe a couple minutes left if you want to finish up or not. It's up to you. Totally up to you. Not going to try and twist your arm here.
Yeah, I always think it's important to listen to everything that the person says, just in case there is some valuable information there. But I also don't like the fact that it kind of goes back to the money thing, as far as him charging a lot of money for people to have these experiences, and it may not even be, real. I think if it's real, then like you said, you should show them to people. And without charging them at least once or twice, show the evidence that it's real, and then maybe, I don't know. Beyond that, maybe you're okay to do that, to charge them and stuff. But I think the fact that he doesn't do that, at least not much, that he hasn't just shown that to the public in general, I think is makes me suspect that there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, it's definitely a suspicious thing. I appreciate it, my man. So James here has a podcast. Do you want to tell everybody about your podcast real quick while we got you on the phone?
Yeah, it's called Salcedo Paranormal. It's actually become a weekly podcast show kind of thing now on my Discord, which is called Salcedo Media. And I just cover all things paranormal in general, just articles and stories from people that have had experiences, all of that put together. So it's a weekly show now, and you can find me on Discord and listen there.
Okay,
and then also
sweet.
on all the social media and the podcast platforms. I share the show after.
Gotcha. Salcedo Paranormal is the name of the podcast. I appreciate you calling in, James. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. There you go. Simple as that. So yeah, you can call in. I'll be nice to you. I'm the nice guy. I'm not the guy on the radio that's going to yell at you and freak out. But great stories tonight, based on some actual like eyewitness accounts and some things that happen, right? Some things that happen out there, and that's the whole point of doing the show like this, as we've always done it in a live setting, because you never know the type of things you're going to get, the things people have seen out there, and the experiences they've been through. So thank you so much for sharing, Rose and James tonight. The rest of you, I don't know where you're at. We're taking phone calls and the phone's not ringing. I think you're probably scared. It's all right. We're done. We are done on The Fringe. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and we get together Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, and we finish for a couple hours on Fringe. And if you're listening on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. If you're listening to us on the podcast feed, DLive, Facebook, or YouTube, stay tuned for more Troubled Minds. We're going to keep on trucking. If you guys call, we got a third hour. If you don't, well, we'll just cut it short, because it seems like you guys are scared of Steven Greer. Ha! In any case, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. You guys know the drill. We are off the Fringe now, and DLive, Facebook, and YouTube, and more podcasts if you're listening on the podcast. And we're going to continue talking about this. So what do you think about exo-racism? What do you think about Steven Greer? What's going on with all this stuff? It seems like there's some weirdness, right? It seems like there's some weirdness. So we've got more coming. There's more information we've got here. Hopefully Ash will show up for the third hour. I don't know where he's at. Like I said, he did say he was going to be probably late because he had some issues going on. But in any case, we're going to keep on trucking. We're going to do our thing anyway. And that's what's up. That's what's up. So we're going to take a 2-minute break, and we will be right back. More Troubled Minds after 2 minutes. Is that 2 minutes? I don't know. Something like that. Close enough, right? Probably close enough. Let's fade this music out and get on with this. What's up, guys? You know the drill. If you're interested and want to call, we'll keep the show going. If not, we'll cut it a little bit short, and that's the way it is. So phone number's up. It's on you. It's 702-957-1037. What do you think about this stuff? About Steven Greer, about this exo-racism, about the drama, about Lou and him and all this other stuff? Like what the heck is going on? Like I said, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, and this is like, kind of out of a soap opera, right? And we're talking about aliens here instead, like alien soap opera style. Just bizarre, right? I mean, there's just so much here that's a little bit weird, and it's as usual, it's dividing the UFO community, and people are freaking out about this and taking sides, and it seems like just more division, right? More division, and that's not a good thing. It's just not a good thing. Let's see. What else do we got? Well, let's say hi to the chat. What's up? Nice Stalker says, "What if aliens are interested in your eyes because you've seen the paranormal?" Yeah, right. That's terrifying. That's not good. And if I went to another planet and the aliens were seeing ghosts, I'd check them out too. Yeah, why not, right? Why not? Why not? I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot here. There's a lot of really weirdness going on with these disclosure things. And what all this means, I can't tell you. Like I said, this is not. Oh, you can't hear me in Discord? You should be able to. Let's see. Everything should be working fine. Let's see. All the buttons are pressed. All the buttons are pressed. I was actually not there in Discord. I actually was away. So I stepped away because we were taking a 2-minute break, so I wasn't talking. So if you want to jump back in Discord, let's try it again. What's up, Tam? What's up, Todd? How you guys doing? Let's see. Kelly says, I'm grounded to the 3rd hour because of my sailor mouth. There it is. Busted. What's up, Larry says, preconditioning before public exposure. Same media control scenario. They would create a false ET crisis and lock us down again. And I think that's the same. That's what's going on here, right? He's describing that there's going to use this for a false flag alien invasion, right? So that's the crazy part here, is that we've said this, and now we have like a notable figure in the UFO community, Steven Greer, Dr. Steven Greer, saying that that's what's happening. Let's see. Tam says, I don't think we're scared to call in. I think maybe it's that you know more about a subject than we do. Oh, okay, all right. That's okay. It was more like a joke. I always say like it's kind of like my thing. I'm like, yeah, you're scared, aren't you? Scared. I was just kidding. That was just a joke, a bad joke. Anyway, all right. So what is up, Kelly? Are you there? Testing 1 2. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, man. How's it going?
I'm doing good, man. So yeah, I had stepped away for a sec. That's why you couldn't hear me. Welcome to the show. What do you think about all this craziness, man? Like, what do you know about Steven Greer to start with, and then about the rest of this drama that we're talking about tonight?
Man, I don't know. This is a very difficult subject for me for right now, because, I mean, all the stuff that Steven Greer has done before all this, right? I'm going to just give examples, right? In 1990, he founded the CSETI, right? It was the Center for Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, right? But the interesting part, and the same time, like say 3 years later, he was contacted. Him and a bunch of different doctors, they were into ufology and people with money, right? And it was with, I'll get into that in a second though, but he, around the same time, I'm going to have to introduce this, but let's go with, in 1993, he started the Disclosure Project, right? That's the one that actually kind of thrusted him into this limelight, because he did a thing in May 2001. He went to the press conference, right, and then at the National Press Club in D.C. That's where he did the Disclosure Project, when he had people from the military, people from governments, and like in some of these high-ranking areas, right? It was just going to have intel on some of the intelligence that's going on, in different countries. But at the same time, in 1993, it was actually in September 14th, 1993, in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, him and those doctors and those other ufologists, they all met with Lawrence Rockefeller. And this was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. That's the interesting part to me, is why would he... Because the story goes that Lawrence Rockefeller, he was interested in ufology as well. And he was, he wanted to get a group together. And started a disclosure project because he was the financier back here, the money backing for some of this. That's the story anyway. But I really haven't delved too far down that tunnel when I seen that, but because of that disclosure project that Robert Greer did in 2001, which is incredible to me, because he did not just get he got a lot of people, right? And they went in front of some they were they were people that had that were no longer congressmen or senators, and they sat there and listened to this. That's the closest you're going to get, for us to be stepping in front as a people, to talk about some of this stuff. And they said that they were willing. All those participants were willing to, go in front of Congress, but they were never invited. And then, but after in 2013, he was a co-producer for that Sirius documentary. That's mostly dealing with his work in hypnosis and the regard for extraterrestrial life, and that's when he started doing all this saying that he can summon UFOs. But there was a time frame in between there, between those distances. I think, when I was researching him and following him, is that he fell off the scene for a little bit, and then he comes back because some of the words that was coming out of his mouth was, because there was times where he was saying that all alien abductions at one time was all government, it was the military. That were saying that, because, some people say that they see with the aliens was, in a military or a base-like thing, kind of look like military with the aliens, But he's flip-flopping a lot of stuff. So I don't know if someone got to him or, it was time to change, the course that he was going down. But
yeah. I remember a lot of that stuff too. So notably, that's what I was saying. Kind of back in the day, Steven Greer was one of those guys that was really well respected in the UFO community. Probably more so than a guy like Richard Dolan, right? Not quite like Stanton Friedman, to that level, but he was respected as not going too far out there and making up all kinds of ridiculous stuff. But I don't know, like you said, at some point, it seems like a lot of things changed with him. And I who knows? Like you said, maybe somebody got to him, or maybe let's say, let's give him the benefit of the doubt for a minute and say that maybe he did make some sort of contact, right? That would change you. That would change the hell out of you, right? So who knows? I mean, it's different. He's way different than he used to be, and now he's this polarizing figure. And like you said, he was briefing VIPs back in the day on this phenomena. So I don't know, man. There's some weirdness with him. And at what point did things go off the rails? Because I think he's at this point he's kind of a little bit off the rails, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I kind of believe the same thing that he is saying right now. The false flag for money. I mean, we talked about this a little bit, and I don't know. That's what I believe is that that they're saying, okay, that here is a UFO. We don't know what it is, but so now we got to make our own UFOs. Kind of that thing. That's why the whole Space Force shit is out. Is that it's just another that branch. We don't need another military branch that's going to suck our money. That's the thing. And what's crazy about it is that he's called out like Louis Elizondo, like the people you were talking about. Everybody that's in this, in this format right now. But the thing about it is, they were saying they don't like bullies. Because this man has got some pull, one way or another, whether it be Rockefeller money or he's got the knowledge of something that these people don't even want to have a contest with him or even like a discussion, something to break it down. That's what's interesting to me.
Yeah, well, and then there's a lot that's suspicious about this. There's more than just kind of the cursory stuff too. It's so then what's his relationship? Like you said, he's been known to brief some of these VIPs, like we were saying. But how come he's not anymore? How come he's not part of the Lou Elizondo project and this actual government disclosure thing? Right? He's literally splintered off into his own sort of individual faction, disclosure faction. And that seems weird, considering like probably 10 years ago, he probably would have been on the same side as these other guys, right? Kind of talking about, getting to the government, getting them to release information and admit the truth and all this other stuff. But now it seems like he's not into that at all. It's just strange. The whole thing's just so weird to me that go ahead.
Well, to counter that it's because he, if he's already got in his hands, like that deep, right? Because again, like I said, his financier is Rockefeller, right? So he's people with money. He's got push and pull inside the government, whether people want to agree with that or not. But again, the thing about it is like you're saying, some of the stuff that he would have been with Louis Elizondo, but he's saying that they don't know what the hell they are. You know what I mean? And that's not what Greer has already found out. Is that yes, we do know what's going on. We do know. I mean, that narrative is what blows me out. That the whole push with Louis Elizondo's group. You know what I mean? They're saying they don't know. Come on, fool! You were the intelligence guy running it, man. You can't tell me you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with Greer in some cases like that, but there's some things that he says that, like, I don't know, man. It's, for me anyway, it's like, I don't know, dude. You're, and it's not the stuff that he just played right now. I'm talking like prior, right around there, where he was flip-flopping on a lot of stuff, and now he's saying, there's alien, and there's, alien racism. I kind of understand that because, if you consider different aliens that don't look humanoid, you know what I'm saying, that look like, let's say the reptilians or whatever, they're, and just like any kind of movies and stuff like that is representative of that type of species as, they're all shitty, bad people or, a bad type of thing. But, you can also disagree on that too, that not all of them were, you had like E.T. or Mork and Mindy and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, those weren't like all alien, that's all, bad, but hey, most of the stuff that you see, they're trying to come here and, attack us or, I don't know, maybe that's the narrative that they were trying to push to that, the fake alien invasion as well.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Another one I can think of is Alf. Remember the fuzzy, like, happy alien that was like, kind of in the sitcom. And you're right. So I get that. I get it that maybe, I don't know, but for them to actually say there's some sort of stigma with this, like some sort of exo-racism, it's also kind of like, well, for that to exist, we have to be able to see these entities. You know what I mean? They have to be they have to commingle with humanity at some point for that to even be remotely true. Otherwise, I mean, we're telling scary stories in the dark type of thing. So it just there's something about it that just doesn't ring true to me. It seems like it's a stretch. It seems like it's publicity. It seems like really this is what we're talking about now. I don't know. Like I said, who knows? I'm not right about many things, but it did rub me the wrong way when I heard it. It just seemed like, okay, now this is racism too. Got it. Right? Yeah. Oh,
and just to let people know, if you want to do what he does, is like, I don't know what they call it, CS5 or whatever, or they can summon UFOs. But I mentioned this before. There's a man you can find him on Facebook. I went to LA and he said he calls himself the Summoner. His name is Robert Bingham. There's a little plug for him, but some of the stuff, like his later stuff, you know what I mean? I mean, I've seen some of the he tells people he's going to be in like MacArthur Park, right? And this is broad daylight, right? And MacArthur Park has got this one tower. I think it's on the west side of the park, right? It kind of looks like an obelisk, but on the top it's got an eagle on it, and that's where usually he does his summoning, right? But I swear that some of the stuff that I've seen when he was, he's called that stuff in, and I mean, they had big ass cameras out there, so you could, they zoomed in on these things, and they were not. I don't know what they were, but they were not. They were. I guess you would say a UFO, because I couldn't identify it, but it was cylinder. It was kind of like a saucer shape. It was silvery. There was a red one. two of them that were kind of like rotating around each other. There was different ones. He claims, though, in some of his pictures that he has now, that you could tell they look like balloons, right? They have like a string or whatnot, but he calls them tethers, and he claims that, that's sometimes that they can change shape, and they could change their shape to even look like a balloon. But I don't know, man. You can see some of his other pictures he does have in there, and his photo gallery is pretty intense. I mean, and me and Michelle went down there. Because I wanted to go down there. I wanted to see if this guy was true. And I don't know, man. Some of the stuff I seen, I couldn't say what the hell it was, but there wasn't anything that we were flying.
Right. So there is some truth to this, but you can't really vouch for Steven Greer. You've never seen him maybe do some of these things, or do you think that maybe he can? I don't know. What do you think?
For me, the difference between this guy and Robert Greer, most of the stuff that he's doing is at night. Right, you see all that stuff, and it looks like a light. And I've seen some of the videos that he had, somebody posted, but it seems like this thing's over the ocean and it's a light and it comes up, but it doesn't like come forward. It doesn't like represent itself. If it was, if you're gonna summon something, it's gonna fly closer. Why not do it in the daytime then? Like this guy, Robert Bingham, he could do it. That's the thing about it. It's free. It ain't gonna cost you $5,000 to do that.
Exactly. And again, that's some criticism to what Greer's doing, is that if this is literally what the future is bringing here, then why would you be charging people for this stuff? It doesn't make sense. Here, I've got Robert Bingham's actual YouTube page, so I'm going to link this if you guys want to check it out. This is the guy that Kelly's talking about. Maybe at some point we'll have to do a show on this guy, and it looks like he's got some stuff on his YouTube and some other good stuff. The actual UFO summoner, the man who summons UFOs. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, he'll come on. I mean, he's done other shows too, and he's actually had a couple people on his own videos. Some people that they're older ones, but like these guys are. They're deep in ufology too. So I mean, he's got some interviews and stuff in there. It's pretty interesting. That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing. I mean, if you look at it, you would probably say some of his, like I said, his newer stuff does look like balloons, but there's some that are like, I don't know, dude. That's something else, man. And that's what he claims too, though. But it's hard to tell unless you go down there. If you live in L.A. and you go down to MacArthur Park, just kind of like. He'll announce where he's going to be down there. And if you don't want to, and he says he calls on all comers, everybody that's naysayers, everybody that, debunkers. And there was some people there that wanted to see, and like I said, me and Michelle went down there. It's an all day thing. He says, bring a chair, some cooler or something, because, you're going to be scanning the skies. And then, he had his own group that had some big ass cameras and shit like that. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, so you did actually see the guy do what he described. He did it in broad daylight, and he summoned these UFOs, huh?
Yeah, man. I swear to God, fucking he. I mean, it's just a saying that I do, but yeah, he. I mean, I don't know what it was, bro, and I'm telling you, it was something. It was a UFO. It was something that. And they're claiming, the ones that could, in and out of the ocean because, MacArthur Park's L.A. is right there next to the ocean. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Yeah, go check it out. It's pretty crazy. If you're from L.A., if you want to check that out, MacArthur Park is where he goes down. It's the west side of the park, and that's the one, like I said, it looks like an obelisk with an eagle on it. And some days he does it on the weekends most time. I mean, can't tell you the dates. He'll shoot out, his little videos and tell you when he's going to be down there.
Okay. Actually, let's see if I can pull up his website and share this here. But I mean, yeah, this is good stuff, right? If this guy can actually do these things, then then I have an easier time believing Greer when he says stuff like this. But then again, right, back to the money thing and some other stuff. You said you were going to actually add to the money bit there, something about Steven Greer.
Oh, the false flag for money. Yeah, that's the thing I was talking about too, is that the government, they're, creating this, it would probably be the, I guess the false UFO invasion. And then, like I said, they're going to be the government's now going to be wanting to, create their own, which we already have. That's what I'm saying. We already have that technology. That stuff, they have to slowly bring this stuff out. That's what I'm saying. And then, that's the whole point of, the Space Force. And, that's going to be more billions and billions of dollars being sucked through, as all the stuff that the military already has right now. We don't really need 768 bases in like 84 countries now, do we? Really?
Probably not. Especially the way with warfare has changed, where you don't even need really boots on the ground in many places now. Yeah. Weird, man. Weird. This is the type of stuff, though, right? Like, so you've seen it. I believe you. So you've never tried it actually with the protocols to try and summon UFOs yourself?
Actually, I have. I was down here in Colorado Springs at my aunt's farm. It's kind of like, I'll just say it's east from Colorado Springs, right? And we was down on the farm. It was out where she lives at. There's hardly any city lights. So that's what's good about it, and you can see all the stars, up that high, about 7,000 feet, right? 7,000 plus. So I was telling actually my family about that, and so they said, "Well, give it a try." So I did. I don't know what flew by, but they all flipped out. But I don't know. I don't know if it would look like a. I don't know, man. If it looked like a meteor coming in, like a falling star, what they call, or if it was actually something that was flying by, because the direction it was flying was more across the sky horizontally than it was coming down vertically. And it just like flew fast, quick, right by it. Everybody flipped out. I flipped out. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Wow, it worked. I would flip out too. I would totally flip out.
I mean, I don't know if it was, and I can't say it was, but whatever the hell it was fast, and it lit up the sky horizontally. I mean, it wasn't coming down vertically in any kind of direction. That's what the crazy thing about it was. So, I mean, it wasn't like how Robert Bingham did it, And that's the thing. I don't want to. That's Robert Greer when he's doing that shit by the thousands, 5,000s and shit at night. I mean, you got this guy here. He'll do it for free. All you gotta do is go down there. He just wants to show you, and he even tells you too. It's almost like how Greer says, you kind of like look into the sky as deep as you can, and into a mental state, right? You try to relax, and you just send yourself out there, and you say, "Hey, hello, I want I would like to meet," and or could you show yourself? And then you thank them, and then you wait. And you just scan the skies for a while, and that's what you're doing. You're looking for something. And he says how they will show you is they'll like it's like a crack somehow, or they'll flash you, make yourself bright. And you're looking into in a certain direction for a while, just kind of scanning the skies. That's what they'll let you know that they're there. And then you can do photography, or if you have something like that, or binoculars, you just want to see something like that. But that's how he says they'll let you know. Gotcha. And believe me, there's times where I had with some friends, and I wanted to do that. And he's my buddy. He, like I said, he's a no-go with all that stuff. He's seeing fire in the sky. He just keeps yelling that with every time we see something shit like that.
Well, it would startle the shit out of me if I was like, all right, let's make this UFO happen, and then something happened. I mean, that would be an experience for sure. So I don't know then what happens. So you think in the end of the Steven Greer saga here, at where we're at today, it seems like what happened to this guy? Any theory there?
I don't know. You know what my theory is? I think this guy got captured. They cloned his ass, and he's dead, man. And he's got some other dude coming out, because he even looked a little different than what he had. You know what I mean? Because if you look at older pictures, that's my theory. It might be out of pretty. And I'm not saying that it sounds crazy, because listen what we talk about. But man, I don't know. It could be because like I said, he did so many different flip-flops at one time and was like, is there aliens? And there was no aliens. And now he can summon this shit and it's going to cost you $5,000. You know, just like, what are you doing, dude? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's, for me, I already seen his greatness, but now he's like, I don't know, he's all over the place for me. I'm just confused with the dude.
Yeah. What's up? Dwayne Dibley says in the chat, don't believe Steven Greer is a con artist. Disregard everything he says. There you go. I've heard that take before too. This is tough. I agree. How much is if this is real? And I don't know, man. It almost seems like we're trying to outpace each other with like more and more outlandish claims. You know, like with different people, Michael Salla and guys like Steven Greer, things like this. It's like, you know, talking about the Galactic Federation and, you know, stuff like this. It's like the people that can say that the most like, whoa, no way, right? They want to shock you with shit you'd never believe. You know, I don't know. The whole thing's weird to me. But as you know, we'll keep following it and seeing how it develops. But if you get a chance, if you haven't watched his that documentary, give it a peek. I think you'll be surprised. I was that aside from the exo racism bit, I think everything in there's like kind of spot on. He was talking about the false flag alien invasion and some other things and the disinformation coming from the government, and I was like, yeah, well, all right, I can be down with this. I expected it to be way out there, but it turns out it kind of wasn't. Yeah, you didn't get a chance to check it out yet?
No, I haven't. And actually, when you were showing that one where he shows that alien autopsy from the, when did he say it was? Like the early 1900s?
Yeah, 25 years before Roswell. Yeah, so it'd be like 1910, something like that.
Man, and that was, I wanted you to, you know, keep going with that. I haven't, you know, that's because I haven't seen it. And I even actually screenshot that, you know, of you showing that so I could like kind of zoom in before I called. Because, man, that's, you know what's interesting, too? Because I ran across a story once, and some of the, you know, like, when they talk about cowboys, you know, and around the, you know, the cowboys in Indian times, you know, all that time, like, what, the early 1800s and shit. But they said, you know, when in the Great West, when they were coming, you know, the people were coming westward, that they were chasing, I don't know, there was something about they were chasing, there was some lawmen that were chasing some cattle rustlers or some shit. They were dangerous guys or whatever. That's the story, but they chased them into this, it sounds like it would be in like the Arizona, New Mexico area, or you know, even Nevada, but they talks about it was in a desert canyon, and they, you know, thought they chased them into a cave, and they said that what tripped them out is they seen a UFO, like there was one sitting in a cave or something, like there's a story of like the, you know, the Humana that they found over in somewhere, like I guess the military found one, you know, with, you know, the flying Humanas from India. But yeah, there was a story about that they, you know, so the lawmen, you know, they got a hold of, you know, the government or whatever, and they came down, and I don't know how they would, you know, pull it out of there or what happened, but yeah, there was an old story about that time in Western Canada, 1800s, something like that. But yeah, that photo he had, man, that's pretty incredible, because it did look real. And if he claimed he had it tested, and he, you know, had the guys look like the clothing, you know, everything was correct in there. That creature that was laying down in there was, you know, kind of interesting looking.
Yeah, it looked legit enough. And so he said it was a photo of a photo, and they did some forensics on it and were able to determine to his knowledge that it's a real photo. But what were they operating on? That's a good question. That's a hell of a question. Lazy Guy X says the movie Cowboys and Aliens. Yeah, kind of like that, right? Same sort of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. But with, you know, the Cowboys and Indians, or the Cowboys and Aliens, that one, you know, they had the bracelet or he got knocked out or something. But yeah, it was something they found a UFO. I don't know what exactly. I can't. It was a while ago too that I ran across that story though. But yeah, that was here in the West, because most of the stuff that you hear about, you know, all these ancient, you know, is never really in the United States. What you find here in the States is like giants, you know, or you know, stuff like that. that's what you mostly find here, that I've seen anyway, and but all the flying vimanas or stuff like that, that's all like Middle East. I mean, that's just crazy about India. They don't understand is that they say, yeah, these were the gods that came down into the spaceship. Man, they had purple skin. This is what they looked like. You know what I mean? They had wars in the sky. To them, it wasn't even nothing. And everybody, if you want any kind of, interest in that, I mean, they're literally telling you that their gods were, had multiple arms. You know what I mean? They could do all kinds of crazy medical shit. They had a lot of medical stuff that comes out of, India and stuff like that. And those temples that are carved out of one piece of stones there. Anyway, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, that's right. You're good. And because there's a lot of things to talk about. We'll actually get to that at some point. We'll kind of look into some of the Indian mythology and how maybe some of it kind of fits. There's that one guy on YouTube that does a ton of great work with that, and he's being censored too. He's always complaining about YouTube putting strikes on his stuff for making the ancient alien claims and things like this. But yeah, so I appreciate it, man. Anything else while we got you on tonight?
Oh no, man, that was it. I just wanted to. I'm kind of confused with the guy too. I think he just, they cloned his ass, he's dead, and or he just somebody got to him. I don't know. That's my feeling on the guy because like again before his older stuff. I mean, the guy was on it. He was trying for disclosure. Bring out the free energy and stuff like that. But now it's more about I don't know. It's like he's run scared and just trying to make money out of. His whatever he's doing now, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure he's not done, so we'll keep an eye on him. Like I said, we've never done like a full show on him, so it is one of the things that he's kind of pushing himself out there right now. So we'll keep an eye as it develops and talk about more as it comes. I appreciate your takes tonight. Always good stuff, Kelly.
All right, brother. You guys have a good night.
Thanks a lot. You too. There you go. That's Kelly from Colorado, the very first caller to the show that I remember anyway. I'm pretty sure he was the first guy to call in, and he's been listening and contributing, calling in for years. Definite good stuff. We got some time for you if you guys are interested. We can call it any time now, but if you're... We got time for you. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Troubledminds.org is a Discord, and you could get in here like Kelly was and tell me what you think. What do you think is up with Dr. Steven Greer? Do you think, like Dwayne Dibley suggested, what's up, Dwayne? I saw you out there, that he's making stuff up, that you shouldn't believe things that this man says, or do you think that he's spot on? Do you think there's something to this? And again, his documentary is called, which kind of spawned this conversation tonight, is called, what is this called? Where is it? It's there we go. It's called The Cosmic Hoax, an Exposé. And here's the link actually where you can find it at SeriousDisclosure.com. That's his website. And I don't know, like this is kind of like Kelly saying, it's hard to really take this guy super seriously to me because he seems to have done what? Like kind of, yeah. Joe says this. Break him down. He tries to speak from authority, very sure of himself, no results. So I kind of agree. Like James was saying earlier, it's tough to believe people that have all the answers, right? Because these are difficult topics and difficult questions. And so when somebody's like, yep, I know everything that's going on, and I'm going to tell you about all the aliens, it's not okay. Like I don't know. It's weird to me. All right. So we got a call. Looks like Joe from Florida. We'll take that in just a sec as soon as the screening goes through. And yeah, exactly. Hell21 says trying to out alien everyone. And that's a fantastic way to put it, actually. And that's what makes you suspicious, right? That's what makes me suspicious. It's like, it seems like he's, just trying to go furthest out there, right, and get them maybe get the most attention as a result. All right, let's go to Joe in Florida. What's up, my friend? Welcome back to the show. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Doing good. What do you think about this Steven Greer stuff? I saw your comment there. You're probably not a fan, huh?
No, I mean, if you read the article, you'll see the rest of that article was interesting because what he does in Florida, they basically say the flight tracker radar tracked the plane in that area. When he was having the sighting, he told everybody to put their night vision goggles down, but yet he used his night vision goggles and specifically said, there's no smoke, I don't see any smoke or anything. You know, so basically, I guess confirming his own lie, sometimes in double speak. And why would you even say, oh, there's no smoke, it's not a flare? So if you read that whole article, that really, you know, puts definite doubt on it. I know when I first started hearing of this guy, like it was on Ancient Aliens, and you'd see him on shows, it was kind of believable, you know, years and years ago. But he always, like I put in the comment, he always seemed to speak from a position of authority. He did always have the answers. It didn't look like he could be convinced otherwise. Then you don't hear from him again. And, you know, here we are again with that hoax last year. Like everybody else has said, why would you charge that much money to see things at dusk or in the evening? So I just think he's out there doing a cash grab. And let's face it, a lot of these people that are on other shows, it might be on AM radio, a lot of those people are there promoting things to get cash grabs. So that's what I look at. Now, whether Elizondo and all of them are agents for the government, well, let's face the truth. I mean, we're a small group of people here. You know, we want to believe. We do believe, maybe with some skepticism, but our voices will always be silenced. You know, look at the platforms that we're on. And the platform sometimes wants to kick you off. But for the mainstream public, these things are being announced because you need the money to fund black projects. You need a fake boogeyman. We all know that. So for the general public at large, they'll go along with whatever the media gives them. You know, and who knows if it's not a unifying factor between two parties in a country that has to argue over everything, while the rest of us are sitting here saying, you know, we really like to see a spaceship land.
I would. You're damn right. I want to see a spaceship land. I want to see the little green men get out, and then it will remove all doubts, right, from my mind, and probably many others. And I think that's part of the problem here. So this one, actually, you're right. At the bottom of the article, they've claimed that they verified in this quote UFO sighting that there was an actual plane that flew by, and was they've got screenshots of this and everything of when this went down, and so basically he apparently faked a UFO sighting with flares and not good, right? Like that's not good. I think that's part of the problem too, is that we have guys like Tom DeLonge and guys like Greer here that they're like, okay, I know the answers, right? I know what UFOs are. And then they'll, like Tom DeLonge will tweet a fake picture of a UFO, like literally fake, like verified fake. And it's like, what? Like, you're supposed to be the expert, bro, right? And then Greer doing a similar thing here. It kind of stinks, doesn't it? It stinks a little bit. They're supposed to know the difference between mundane things and UFOs themselves, right?
The whole thing stinks. I mean, in the larger pattern, I don't think they're here to help us. I think they're here. I think they probably live here, and they're probably checking in to make sure that, if we're going to destroy ourselves, the extent of destruction on the surface world is just to ourselves. They're probably examining us, coming up, doing the abductions, checking on things. But for crying out loud, if they were really here to help us, don't you think they would have done so by now?
Yeah, or taken us over, if that's why they were here. They probably would have been ripe for that a long time ago. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've never claimed to know what an alien agenda might even look like, other than, fun speculation type stuff. But But you're right. If some of that stuff is true, meaning the alien abduction stuff and some of the experimentation that people have claimed have happened, the Betty and Barney Hill stuff, who knows? Like, it does seem terrifying and not friendly at all, right? So Larry says this on Facebook. He would be suicided like Schneider for running his mouth on classified intel if he was legit. So I think that's actually a pretty good point there, too.
That does make, and that makes a lot of sense. So if it's just a cash grab, curiously enough, I haven't heard from the other one that, the jury's out for me on like Linda Moulton Howe. I start to wonder about some of her stuff, but, I haven't been doing any research or anything lately, but I don't see her popping up as much either. So I'm wondering, those two in my mind are always suspect. So, but that's my opinion. So.
Right on. Fair enough. Linda Moulton Howe's doing Earth Files, and I think she's most of her stuff is behind a paywall now. That's probably why it's not. It doesn't pop up a lot because you kind of have to pay to get in to see it. So just FYI, that's probably why you're not seeing a lot of stuff from her these days. But yeah, great stuff as always, Joe. Anything else while we got you on?
Oh, very good. Tampa won the Cup. I survived the tropical storm Elsa.
Nice.
Had a day off of work. So everybody stay safe.
You as well. I appreciate the call. Thanks for listening, my man. We'll talk to you soon.
Good night.
Thanks, bro. There you go. Easy as that. You guys want to be part of the show? Give us a call. We're gonna wind this down. If nobody's interested in calling and giving us their take on Steven Greer, you guys know the drill. We're gonna go till the calls stop, and if the calls have stopped, we're about to wind this down and finish up. But we do have time for you if you want to chip in here at the end. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. I see we got a couple folks just joined Discord there. Thanks for joining us and meeting some nice folks in there. So I think that's the thing, right? As we kind of come to the end of this discussion, I don't know. Thinking of Steven Greer, it's like I said, there's plot holes in a lot of this stuff. The disclosure stuff. Not just from the Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon side with, very much like Larry said, if these people were really dishing out classified details like this, they'd probably, right? Wouldn't you prosecute them? Wouldn't you, right? Like, wouldn't you make problems for their life in their life if you were the government, things like this? And I think that kind of says most of what we need to know, in my opinion, is that if you're saying some things, which link there, Kelly? Which link do you want in the chat? The actual, I got you. The actual documentary. Here you go. Dropping the Greer link in, the documentary back in the chat if you guys want to check it out. Yeah, good call, Joe. And I don't know what to think of Steven Greer. I think, like we've been saying kind of all night, it seems like he's changed, and he used to be very well respected, and now I think that those days are kind of over. And it seems like Hell 21 was saying, he seems to be kind of trying to out alien everybody with more and more expansive claims on the things that he knows. And so it's simple to me. Like, prove it. Like Kelly was saying, that guy. What's the dude's name? Robert. What's the guy's name? I got his name here. Robert Bingham. So check him out. If you're interested, right? Kelly said go down to LA, and this guy's like summoning UFOs in the sky down there in broad daylight. So for free, no less. So if that's the case, right, and this stuff can happen, there's ways you guys can check this out if anybody's in the Los Angeles area. I'm about a 4-hour drive, and maybe that's a hell of an idea to maybe go for a weekend and see if I could spot some UFOs with that guy. That'd be pretty cool. But, so if some people are out there doing this and say it exists, Kelly says he actually was able to summon one himself, and it scared the hell out of him, or surprised him anyway. Not scared. I would never describe Kelly as scared, actually. Probably surprised him. But I don't know. Has anybody out there been able to summon UFOs with the CE5? And CE5 actually, let's do a quick definition on that, Sue. Folks that don't know, I pulled this up. CE5, here we go. This is from ce5texas.com. And so CE5 stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, okay? And so this is from the Project Blue Book, the J. Allen Hynek scale, where a close encounter of the first kind is defined as visual sightings of an unidentified flying object seemingly less than 500 feet away that show an appreciable angular extension and considerable detail. That's close encounter of the first kind. Second, Close encounter of the second kind, a UFO event in which a physical event is alleged. This can be interference in the functioning of a vehicle or electronic device, animals reacting, a physiological effect such as paralysis or heat and discomfort in the witness, or some physical trace like impressions in the ground, scorched or otherwise affected vegetation, or a chemical trace. All right, close encounter of the third kind, like the famous movie by Spielberg back in the 80s. UFO encounters in which an animated creature is present. These include humanoids, robots, and humans who seem to be occupants or pilots of a UFO. This subcategory was popularized by the movie of the same name. Exactly right. Close encounters of the third kind. Close encounters of the fourth kind, defined by Jacques Vallée, Hynek's associate, as a UFO event in which witnesses experienced a transformation of their sense of reality. And here we go. The fifth kind. Close encounter of the fifth kind, defined by Dr. Steven Greer. It's actually a prototype hybrid project which has scientific research and diplomatic interspecies relations components. In this UFO event, it is humans who are initiating peaceful bilateral contact with the ETs through conscious, voluntary, and proactive cooperation and communication. And there you go. That's what the close encounter of the fifth kind is. Humans reaching out through a meditative state or whatever it happens to be. So anyway, like I said, if you guys believe this, can anybody do this? Kelly said he's done it once. Has anybody else out there actually witnessed something like this? Because I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear these stories if it exists. So I have no idea. Again, I've never seen it happen. I've never tried, though, to be honest. So maybe I should. Maybe I should go try and summon a UFO tonight and see what happens. If I disappear like Ash did tonight, then maybe, they came to get me. I don't want to be got, though. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's finish this up. We're at the end. Again, like I said, got a couple minutes for you if you want to call and give us your take on this stuff. 702-957-1037, and that's troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link and get in here. Get in here. Yeah. If I do it, I'm gonna film it. I'm gonna film it so we can see the the UFO come in and take me. But okay, all right. So I don't know. At the end of this, like I said, we'll keep an eye on this Steven Greer saga. The lawsuit filed again with the IG, the Inspector General with Lou, and Danny Sheehan, the lawyer who's representing both of these guys, as Steven Greer is like grotesquely slandering Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon and these guys in this video. Like I said, if you haven't watched the video, check it out. Go watch this thing. I was a little surprised. It was entertaining. It was good. In that beginning, you saw that alien autopsy there and a photograph he was discussing. So if there's some merit to that, well, maybe that's the actual smoking gun of an extraterrestrial that we need, right? An actual photograph of them capturing or collecting bodies from a crashed spacecraft. Who knows, right? Like, this is the type of stuff. I have no idea. I don't know. Like I said, I have a hard time believing it until I see it, and then, maybe I'll see it, and then I'll change my mind. See, Hell21 says, even Ash is scared of Greer. Told you. And Penny says, the mantis got Ash. Exactly. So clearly, I don't think you guys are scared. I was just trying to egg on somebody to call. That's all. All right, anyway, let's get out of here. Let's do this, and let's finish this up. We do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday now, and I'm feeling it. I'm a little bit tired tonight, and let's wrap it up. We will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. for a more action-packed Troubled Minds, talking about all kinds of weird stuff like we do. Try and get something maybe a little different and see what we can talk about and have a good time. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Let's play some outro music, and let's do this. Let's do this, shall we? All right. We're done. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us in chat. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out and listening. Thanks, folks on the Fringe FM that were gracious enough to sit through my mess up when I stopped broadcasting there. But I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Like I said, I always say you could be doing like a million other things right now, and you're here. So it does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for all the support. If you want to help the show, leave us a review. Go to iTunes or actually Podcast Republic. We're looking for reviews there. If you want to help us out, let me actually give you a link real quick. I'm going to put this up, and you guys can see that we need a few reviews. We've got a few here, but we need a few more. It's as simple as just go to the website, click the thing, add a review, and there you go. Dropping it in the chat. I would appreciate if you guys want to help us out. Review is right there. Click the thing and just You don't even have to write it. You could just give like some star review and then do the thing. What's up? Kelly says he goes to MacArthur Park in LA, west side of the park, by the obelisk with the eagle on it, if you guys want to go check it out. Robert Bingham, the summoner. Appreciate that. Good night, Johnny. Thanks for hanging out with us. Caesar, what's his name? I want to see a UFO. Yeah, there it is. All right. You'll all have that link and all the rest of the links in the show notes as soon as we're done. So if you want to follow up on any of the stuff we talked about, you can find it there. Please, again, like I said, podcastrepublic.net. Leave us a review there, and I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the help, guys. Thanks for the great calls tonight, the amazing stories, and at the end, be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. And from our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.